No, Fiend Fang, don't delude yourself into resisting. Today, all major sects of the righteous path have joined forces to crush your fiendish lair. This place is already surrounded by a tight net this time. You will surely die a gruesome death, your head severed from your body. Fan Yuan, you damned fiend. You slaughtered thousands to refine the spring minus Autumn Cicada. You have committed heinous crimes, unforgivable sins that even a forest of bamboo couldn't record. Fiend, 300 years ago, you humiliated me, violated my innocence, massacred my family, and exterminated my entire clan. From that moment, I've longed to tear your flesh and drink your blood. Today, I'll make you suffer unspeakable agony before you die. Fan Yuan, clad in a tattered emerald minus green robe, his hair disheveled and his body drenched in blood, glanced around at the crowd surrounding him. The mountain wind billowed his blood minus stained robe, fluttering like a battle flag with a rustling sound. Fresh blood oozed from hundreds of wounds on his body. In the short time he stood there, a large pool of blood had already accumulated at his feet. Enemies surrounded him on all sides. There was no escape left. The situation was sealed. Death was inevitable today. Fan Yuan saw the situation clearly. Yet even as death loomed, his expression remained calm and unchanged. His demeanor indifferent. His gaze was faint and deep, like an ancient well or a profound lake, always impenetrably deep. The righteous heroes besieging him included respected sect leaders and renowned young prodigies known far and wide. They surrounded Fan Yuan tightly. Some roared in anger, some sneered coldly, some narrowed their eyes, flashing with wariness, and others clutched their wounds, staring at him in fear. None dared to strike first. All were wary of Fan Yuan's desperate counterattack in his final moments. Thus, the tense standoff lasted for 3 hours, as the sun set in the west. Its afterglow ignited the evening clouds by the mountains, painting the sky in a brilliant, fire-minus-like hue for a moment. Fan Yuan, who had stood motionless like a statue, slowly turned around. The crowd of heroes immediately stirred, all stepping back a large step in unison. But now, the gray minus white rocks beneath Fan Yuan's feet had long been dyed dark red by blood. His pale face, pale from excessive blood loss, was bathed in the glow of the evening clouds, suddenly taking on a faint, tender radiance. Gazing at the green mountains and the setting sun, Fan Yuan let out a soft laugh. Green mountains and setting sun, autumn moons and spring breezes. Truly, the hair that was black at dawn turns white by dusk. Success and failure vanish, like smoke in the blink of an eye. And as he spoke, memories of his past life on Earth suddenly flashed before his eyes. He had originally been a Chinese student on Earth, who by a stroke of fate had traveled to this world. After 300 years of wandering and hardship, and over 200 years of dominating this realm, the 500 years had passed in the blink of an eye. Many memories buried deep in his heart came alive at this moment, vividly replaying before him. In the end, I failed. Fan Yuan sighed inwardly, feeling a tinge of emotion, yet no regret. He had long foreseen this outcome. When he made his choice, he had already prepared himself for it. So minus called demonic path meant abandoning virtuous deeds, killing and plundering without restraint. It meant being rejected by heaven and earth, making enemies of the entire world, yet still indulging in one's desires and dominating unbridled lie. With the newly refined spring minus autumn cicada works in my next life, I will still be a fiend. With this thought, Fan Yuan couldn't help but burst into loud laughter. Old fiend, what are you laughing at? Everyone, be careful. The fiend is going to counterattack now that he's at death's door. Hurry up and hand over the spring minus autumn cicada. The heroes pressed forward. Just then, with a thunderous boom, Fan Yuan resolutely detonated his own body. The soft spring rain fell continuously, quietly nourishing Green Hill Mountain, an interest community formed by 3 sorcerer families and the mortals living at the foot of the mountain. Night had fallen, and a faint cool breeze carried the drizzle. Yet Green Hill Mountain was not dark. From the mountainside to the foot of the hill, countless faint glimmers of light twinkled, like a brilliant glowing ribbon draped over the land. These lights came from numerous stilted houses. Though not quite a myriad of lights, there were still thousands of them. This was the Gaiyue Stockade, nestled on Green Hill Mountain, adding a rich touch of human life to the vast, serene mountains. At the very center of Gaiyue Stockade stood a magnificent and grand pavilion. At this moment, a sacrificial ceremony was being held there, so it was brightly lit, its radiance dazzling. Ancestors, please bless us. May many young people with outstanding talents emerge from this awakening ceremony, bringing new blood and hope to our clan. The Gaiyue clan leader, A middle-aged man with slightly frosted temples wore a plain white, solemn sacrificial robe. He knelt on the brown floor, his upper body straight, hands clasped together, eyes tightly closed in sincere prayer. Fort instead a tall, black-lacquered altar with 3 tiers, on which ancestral tablets were enshrined. On either side of the tablet stood reed copper incense burners, from which thin wisps of incense smoke curled upward. Behind him, more than a dozen people knelt as well, dressed in loose white sacrificial robes. They were the clan's elders and leaders, each in charge of different areas of authority. After praying for a while, the Gaiyue clan leader was the first to bow, spreading his hands flat and pressing his palms firmly against the floor before kowtowing. His forehead tapped the brown floor, making soft thudding sounds. The elders behind him, all with solemn expressions, silently followed suit. For a moment, the only sound in the ancestral hall was the soft thud of foreheads hitting the floor. When the ceremony ended, everyone slowly stood up from the floor and quietly walked out of the solemn ancestral hall. In the corridor, the elders let out silent sighs, and the atmosphere relaxed slightly. Gradually, voices of discussion arose. How time flies. In the blink of an eye, a whole year has passed. Last year's awakening ceremony feels like it happened just yesterday. It's still vivid in my mind. Tomorrow is the annual awakening ceremony. I wonder what new talents our clan will gain this year. I hope a young person with grade A talent appears. It's been 3 years since our Gaiyue clan had such a genius. That's right. Clans like BA's Stockade and Zhang's Stockade have produced geniuses in recent years. Especially Bai Ningbing from the Bai clan, his talent is terrifying. Someone mentioned the name Bai Ningbing, and a look of worry appeared on all the elders' faces. This young man had extremely outstanding talent. In just 2 years, he had already cultivated to the rank of a 3rd minus transformation Gu Master. Among the younger generation, he stood unrivaled, even rivaled. Even the older generation could feel the pressure from this rising star. Given time, he would undoubtedly become the backbone of BA's Stockade, at the very least, a powerful figure capable of standing alone. No one doubted this. Still, this year's group of young people joining the awakening ceremony isn't without hope. That's true. The Fang lineage has a talented young boy. He could speak at 3 months old and walk it for months. By the age of 5, he could compose poems and recite essays, exceptionally intelligent and gifted. It's a pity his parents died early now, HES being raised by his uncle and aunt. Yes, HES a prodigy with early wisdom and great ambition. I've heard about the poems HES written in recent years to toast, Ode to Plum Blossoms, and River City Tune. Truly a genius. The Gaiyue clan leader was the last to walk out of the ancestral hall. As he slowly closed the door, he heard the elders' discussion in the corridor. He immediately knew they were talking about a young boy named Guy, Yue Fenyuan. As the clan leader, he naturally paid attention to outstanding and prominent young members of the clan, and Guy, Yue Fenyuan, was the most dazzling one among the younger generation. Experience had shown that those who displayed extraordinary talents from a young age, such as having a photographic memory or strength comparable to an adult, often possessed excellent cultivation potential. If this boy is tested to have grade A talent and we cultivate him well, he might not be inferior to Bai Ningbing. Even if he only has grade B talent, he will definitely be able to stand alone in the future and become a banner for our Gaiyue clan. But, given his early wisdom, grade B is unlikely. He will most probably be grade A. With this thought, a faint smile tugged at the corner of the clan leader's mouth. He then cleared his throat and said to the elders, "Everyone, it's getting late. For tomorrow's awakening ceremony, please make sure to rest well tonight and conserve your energy." Hearing this, the elders all froze slightly. Glances exchanged between them held a hint of wariness. The clan leader's words were subtle, but they all understood his implication. Every year, the elders fought fiercely, even to the point of falling out over these talented juniors. It was indeed time to rest and recharge, so they could fight for the best candidates tomorrow. This guy Yue Fenyuan, in particular, had a very high chance of having grade A talent. Moreover, his parents were already deceased, making him one of the last 2 orphans of the Fang lineage. If they could take him into their own lineage and cultivate him well, it would ensure the prosperity of their branch for 100 years. However, let's be clear, compete with honor. Do not resort to underhanded tactics that harm the unity of the clan. All elders, please keep this in mind. The clan leader warned in a solemn tone. We dare not. We will keep it firmly in mind. Well, take our leave now. Clan leader, please stay. The elders, each preoccupied with their own thoughts, took their leave one by one. Soon, the long corridor grew quiet. A slanting spring rain blew in through the window. The clan leader walked slowly to the window And immediately, his mouth was filled with the fresh, moist mountain air, refreshing and invigorating. This was the third floor of the pavilion. From here, the clan leader could see most of Gai Yui's stockade at a glance. It was late at night, yet most households in the stockade still had lights on like usual. Tomorrow's awakening ceremony was tied to everyone's vital interest. An atmosphere of excitement and tension hung over the clansmen, so many cow didn't sleep soundly. This is the future hope of the clan. As the lights twinkled in his eyes, the clan leader let out a long sigh. At that moment, a pair of clear eyes were also quietly watching these twinkling lights in the night, filled with complex emotions. Gai Yui Stockade, is this 500 years ago? The spring minus autumn cicada really worked. Gai Yui Fenyuan's gaze was faint. He stood by the window, letting the wind and rain beat against his body. The spring minus autumn cicada's power was to rewind time. The rank 7th among the 10 miraculous goo. It was naturally extraordinary. In short, it granted rebirth. Have been reborn using the spring minus autumn cicada back to 500 years ago. Fenyuan stretched out his hand, his gaze fixed on his young, tender, then slightly pale palm. He then slowly clenched his fist, feeling the reality of this moment with all his strength. Soft sound of drizzle tapping against the window sill echoed in his ears. He slowly closed his eyes, and after a long while, opened them again, letting out a soft sigh. 500 years of experiences, it's like a dream. But he knew clearly, this was no dream.